Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from God FM. Who would think I'd be back so soon again with more talks and chats? Today is the 8th of March 2026, and today I want to talk about gassing and the poisoning of innocent civilians that is being carried out against a lot of people against their will and also without their knowledge. All right, so in the World War II, they talk about the gas masks and the gassing of the people, and they would put them all in dungeon type things and gas them to death, take off all their clothes and take everything and then gas them and they'd die. Well, that's kind of their way of telling you what they're going to do to you now. Okay. Because all of that they said happened didn't really happen in that way. So the people who pretend to be God's children are actually the children of the devil. And the reason they did that is so that when this does happen to the real children of God, there won't be anywhere to go. And because everybody thinks it's already happened to the children of the devil who pretend to be God's children, you're not allowed to get any sympathy or talk about it, because it's actually the people that pretended it happened to them that are doing it to us. Okay. So, all right, I'm a targeted individual, and what this means is that I'm on a list and I'm not liked by the controllers, rulers, the leader, and all the other stuff, right? And there's a lot of us around. Some of us know that we're targeted individuals. Some of us don't know, right? For a long time, I just thought I had a lot of bad luck. Right, it's just that simple. And I just thought I'd just have real problems using my phone. And computers and phones and cars, and people were just not so friendly, and it was hard to keep jobs, and all sorts of things, and relationships and all sorts of things that get tampered with when you're a targeted individual. If you're targeted, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you're not targeted, you might also go, oh yeah, I've had problems too. Okay, but the matter at hand that I want to discuss today is the gassing. And I've actually noticed that everything happens through the gas. I know. It's a bit too obvious, isn't it, really? But when I put my boiler on, I have problems. I have problems switching it off. I have problems with the boiler getting hot water upstairs, even though it's a gas boiler and it should be instant hot water. It's freezing cold upstairs, but it's quite hot downstairs. So it's like there's a different supply for the hot water upstairs. It's almost like it's going through some other type of system. And that doesn't make sense. But, and I've told you already as well that my hot water is colder if the boiler's not on. The water out of the hot tap is colder than the cold tap water. Okay. And the radiators are colder than the cold tap water. How do I know that? Well, I had problems with a gas leak actually not that long ago, and I can tell you that the radiators, I was able to warm the house up by running water into bottles and putting them on the radiators, and believe it or not, it actually warmed the house up. I know it sounds almost unbelievable, but it worked. But you know, it seems like, if you think about it, right, you've got pipes running around your house, and they are for your plumbing and whatever. But you've also got pipes running around your fridge, so it's the same sort of system. And if somebody's got something running through that system, it doesn't matter how hot you put the boiler on. There's something interfering with it. But back to the gassing. Sorry, I keep going off, don't I? I've noticed that the hob where I have gas, I get coughing and I get sore eyes around this area. And I believe, because there's a lever and a control for the gas, that the interference that takes place is via the gas. That's what I think. The gas supply and the earth wire. There's a main pipe that goes to the outside for the air vent, and I believe they're putting something in there as well. I believe. And also then for the water that's coming in through the hot water, the feed coming in to the boiler, I believe they are putting something in the water there. Why do I think that? Well, because the water company check the water, and they check the cold water, but they won't check the hot water. And these guys are doing these things. They're gassing you through pipes. They are. I'm 100% sure. And I've done various tests. I can tell you that the toilet is the main problem for me. I get gassed through the inlet of the water to my toilet pipe. When I run the hot tap in my bathroom, and I run the toilet, the hot tap goes very hot water. So that's how I get hot water on. Because otherwise, just lukewarm water in the bathroom, which, as I say, is not normal. So I believe they've made adjustments to the hot water, and this is how I'm able to get hot water. Or I can also run the shower into another area while I'm running the bath, and then I've got really nice hot water, right? Because I like hot water. I don't want warm water in a bath, right? So I've found different ways to get hot water because these people have done things, right? But at night, I have found that I get ringing in my ears and things if I go in my bathroom. And I believe that's because they're gassing us through the bathroom pipes, the drains, and also the taps. The ringing is through the water in the hot water pipes, and this is regardless of whether the boiler's on or not as well. It's really more about the lights they're pointing at the pipes. Okay. Because this activates the nano. So it's nano in the gas, right? Nano in the water. Okay. And this is why I get bites and things like this on my privates. I always get bitten on the toilet by things around my bum and all over those areas, and it's not normal. I mean, I'm not doing anything down there, so it shouldn't be any problems, right? Okay, I'm celibate to the Lord also, so now I've gone, well, the only place I go near with my private things is the toilet, really. So I just stopped using the toilet. And I have a potty now. I use the potty instead. It's just that simple. And I don't have any biting and I don't have any sore things anymore. all those problems have gone away. Isn't that nice? So I know now 100% that it is the toilet, and I can tell you that. And I believe they are gassing me through the inlet to my toilet through the water pipe. And where the water pipe comes to the toilet, it comes through a building next door, which I believe has been tampered with. That's what I think. Okay. Common sense. And I think they've also got control over the shower and the hot water. And if that's the case for me, it's likely to be the same for you, because these guys are lazy and dumb and stupid. Really, they are. Okay, they've got a diagram, a list of people. Someone does plumbing, someone does electrics, the other people, the little guys from India, come and hack you. The home invaders, the professional breaker and enterers. So there's various people. They do come in and they do add things to your food, and they do add things to your water and milk and things like this. If you've got bottled water that's open, you'll have to throw it away, as you probably know if you're a targeted individual. But I found the main problem is the gassing and the nano. And as I've said already, I'm going to be buying a mask to sleep with so that I'm not being gassed while I'm sleeping. The other thing I've noticed in my bedroom is that the top of the bed feels damp and wet, like I'm being sprayed with something. And I believe, I was watching a video that it's the lights. I don't know why. The lights, she showed a video of the lights, and she says that some type of dust is being thrown on her. And she said it comes from the lights. It's almost like it's being activated wherever you go. Something in you activates it, and it drops off this dust on you. So I think it's the same mechanism, and they could probably apply that to fire alarms and lights as well. I've talked about the wireless electricity, and I was thinking about that also, because you've got wireless aerials, wireless Bluetooth, wireless Wi-Fi, and lights now, wireless lights and wireless chargers, wireless electricity, and this will explain the EMF and the electronic torture that is being used and conducted against innocent civilians like myself. No touch torture. But again, this only affects me if I've been using my toilet, believe it or not. I know. But for me, it's a nice solution for now, until they find another way to gas me to death, right? As I say, I'm going to be buying a mask, and I mean, I can't really stop this going in my eyes unless I start wearing goggles around the house, which again I might have to do, because I don't want to be changed into some cyborg thing with nano inside me. And if you're listening to me, you need to be thinking the same way. And it doesn't matter how stupid or crazy you look. This is the invasion of the body snatchers. It really is. And the people who are doing this, perpetrating these crimes, are doing it as if their lives depend on it. This is a cyber hack, stalk, terrorize, take over your data, take over your phone, clone your number, clone your SIM card, clone your phone, get into your iCloud, slow you down, make sure you can't work. This is a DOS attack. Denial of service. Now, if you wanted to shut down a bank, you don't need to rob the bank to shut it down. Just do a DOS attack and basically stop it from operating, and that bank will go bankrupt very fast, because when people realize that they can't get in the bank, that no one can deal with them because they're so busy dealing with a cyber attack, no one will have confidence in that bank. No one will want to deal with their bank. They will all want their money out of the bank. So if you're under that kind of attack as well, no one wants to hire you. Nobody wants to be your friend. Nobody wants to hang around you. No one wants to know anything about it. You know, have you noticed this? It's like you're a bad smell. Like the bank. All right? And so, because no one will help you and no one will deal with it and whatever, then the people perpetrating these crimes are free to do whatever they want to do and without anybody interfering as well. So these are the problems that we've got when we're doing these things. Yeah, that's what I'm finding. So from my point of view, we need to really, really take care with our bodies. It only takes a tiny speck of this stuff inside you to be activated by the lights, and it can grow to the size of your arm in 5 seconds flat. And it'll be constructing its own little network and everything else. And this is to replace your current system inside you and take you over. It's not a laughing matter, and it isn't a horror movie. This is real life. And the fox hunting wasn't really fox hunting. It was hunting little children and people. And guess what? The fox hunting party has come back to life. And now it's done in the open, where anyone in the neighborhood can be hired to hunt you down. All of the people who are the heads of the operations for this gang stalking, child eating, blood drinking, psychopath operation have hound dogs. Yeah, seriously. They all have hound dogs. And they go, oh. And I can tell you, when this started at my old house at Vernon Court, my neighbor at 3 Vernon Court, Brian Harris, had a hound dog. And his dog would go, oh, oh. It was a hunting dog. Yeah, spaniel type doggies. Yeah. So yes, this is what you get. Okay? Because they enjoy the power and everything that comes with being a hunter of human beings. The power of destroying someone's life and popping in and visiting the neighbors and intermingling with them and doing deals and all the other nonsense, right? There's the neighborhood watch, and they are also hired to participate in all of this. Drains outside on the road. I've told you about the BT engineers I've seen on the outside 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, really, dark nighttime, climbing up, adapting the lights. This is because of the wireless technology. I've told you about the cows being tortured by the lights also. And this was like a lightning that came from the lights. Okay. So I know what this stuff is. And I think when I saw it, they were practicing and mastering the wireless no-touch torture that they now conduct against innocent people. All right? Now, it doesn't really matter who you are, what's happening in your world. What you need to know is that the leaders have been taken over. There's been a body snatch. And I believe what happens is once they've got the stuff inside you to such a level, then you stop being human after a while. And you lose feelings. And you're not sympathetic. It's like you become more robotic. And eventually I think your soul leaves your body. And then you're just a vessel for spirits and demonic spirits. That's what I think. I don't think the soul will stick around if it's got alien organisms and things, taking control of you, and your body's been snatched from you. So that's what I think. Everyone who's had their vaccine, they're going to have partial body snatch already going through them. But the full effects, I don't know what they are. Some people may be able to get rid of the effects of it. I don't know. But I didn't have any of those vaccines, and I shouldn't be having these problems. But I can tell you that with the amount of gassing and poisoning that they've done to me, because this is poisoning. This is attempted murder. This is a gassing. It's highly criminal what they've been doing to me. And they know it, but it's invisible. So you can't see it and you can't prove it. And I'm not a gas engineer. I'm not a air specialist. I can't tell you what's in the air. The water as well. It's all nano, tiny, tiny, tiny. Tiny. And it's to be breathed in your nostrils. And then it constructs inside because it goes then into the bloodstream. It takes over your nervous system. It gets in behind the brain. These things also bite you all around your ears. I've got bites again on my ears. Always getting bites on my ears from these things. Again, I don't know how I would get bites on my ears. But other people also have had the same that I've spoken to. And a lot of the targets have problems with their privates. Your ears are like antennas and transmitters. And then at the back of your head, you've got a little hole, haven't you? And where I sit, there's a window behind me. And I had a sore head. I thought, I bet you the neighbours are pointing something. Because they know everything, don't they? At my head. So I put a bit of shielding stuff in the window. Oh, it was lovely. For a moment I felt peace and quiet. So I just left it there. I've gone past caring what people think. A bit of peace and quiet is what I need. But I can tell you, if I'm not breathing this stuff in, and I'm not using my toilet, and I'm careful what I'm drinking and eating, then I'm not. This stuff doesn't affect me. I'm not affected anymore. Just like everybody else, just like I was before. The psychopath child eating blood drinkers came and replumbed my house to gas me, poison me, and hired all the criminals to break into my home and rape me and hack me and stalk me and terrorize me. And I'm not frightened anymore now either. I never was. If I see one of them, I tell them. I say, hey, may you slip and fall and break your fucking neck. May you slip and fall and break your fucking neck. I say, careful you don't slip and fall and break your fucking neck, eh? And if they know who I am, they'll know I talk about this stuff. Because I'm sure they listen to me. When I say that to them, they know that I know who they are. Okay, child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths. Pedophiles. Adrenochrome dealers. It's what they are. This is all about the people in power looking good. Looking young. How are they going to do that? By buying and selling organs. Please tell me where the graveyards are. The new graveyards. There's no new graveyards. Why? Well, because I think that people are going back into the food chain. That's what I think. When you are not well and you go to the hospital, do you not think they've got their eyes on your livers and your kidneys and things? And your eyes? And anything else that they might be able to have off you? If there's someone wealthy, or someone very powerful who needs a new kidney, and you come in. If you're over a certain age, there's the do not resuscitate as well. So you are being killed. Did you hear about that guy in the hospital who got locked away in the morgue, and they were going to take his organs, and they were discussing it, and he overheard them, and he escaped through the window. Yeah. This is becoming very common now. Yeah. Actually, I had a guy I know staying in the hospital, and he reckoned they were gassing them in the hospital. And this is 2021. They were gassing them in the hospital. He could hear something hissing, and he could smell something. And also, he could see white vans waiting in the car park with polystyrene boxes being loaded into the white unmarked vans. And I kept seeing these vans also, because where I used to live, I overlooked the whole of the bay, and I could see all these vans parked at the hotel. They were all white unmarked vans coming and going, and also there was quite a few going up and down the road with little fan things on the top, and I thought that was very interesting too. So when you drive around in the country, just look around and see how many cows and sheep there are, and horses, and just see what you think. I just, again, I don't know what they've done, but what food are we eating? The other thing is, what is kosher food? What is kosher? Do you know that the Jews, the people who claim to be God's children, they eat specific food? And they've got symbols on the food for their food with a K. And I would look at that, because you might find buying that food might not be contaminated with nano. So you might want to start buying that food. The other thing worth asking is, the Muslims eat halal food. What is halal? Well, this is how they sacrifice the animals, and this is their way of worshipping their God. And Iceland and all of those places, well, it's definitely Iceland, sell halal food, and the Muslims won't eat anything else but halal. And it's getting to that sort of point where I don't know whether the halal food is better to eat. Maybe it's worshipping a different God, or the food in the supermarket. It might be worth going to the car boot sale type places and markets to buy your meat from the farmers directly once a month, or as a consortium of people, a few of you together, and saying, right, let's club together. I was going to say £100, but you won't get much for £100. I don't know. Mind you, I believe Traeger Mills do a meat hamper basket for about £30. It's quite substantial. So that would feed you for at least a week maybe a month. I don't know, depending on how much you eat. I mean, I can go 25 days with no food. I do fasting, and I'm quite happy to do fasting. So these are the things I want to talk about. If you're under attack, there's not a lot you can do about the gassing. And the gassing is what the problem is. It's smart dust. Smart dust. One time I was walking up the stairs, the communal entrance of our building, and someone had come out of their door above, and between the stairway and the door below where I was going through, this person dropped some dust on me when I felt it and saw it. And I thought, what was that? And it was the little child that lives upstairs. About 11, 12 years old. 13 now. And I thought, oh, what's that? Anyway, turns out it was smart dust. Little Indians putting that on me. So I thought, that's very interesting that they would be doing this. Now, the thing is, if you're not aware this is going on, you're just thinking, oh, he's just popping out his door. But when you do know, and you know they're putting this stuff on you, this is criminal behavior, as far as I'm concerned. And there's just so many things. So they've got to synchronize your Wi-Fi, the lights, the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi, the fire alarms, and your electrics. Remember I told you about your electricity, and all your plug sockets are a circuit. And you'll probably find the lights are on a circuit as well, connected to the Wi-Fi, with the Bluetooth and the fire alarms. The difference. Circuit probably all connected to the gang stalking, child eating, blood drinking psychopaths who have been hired to terrorize you night and day without fail, without a break. If you want a break and you don't want the lights pointed at your house, get some bright lights and point them away from your house. You can get those bright lights, outdoor lights as well, which sit on the floor and they beam up. Maybe get some of those and put them around the front of your house or the back of the house, wherever the area is that you're being targeted the most, and start pointing some lights back at your wonderful, friendly, lovely neighbors who are pointing lights to radiate you. Or put some lights in the windows and also radios in the windows. You can get little radios and just hang them in the window. Different radio for each room. You can buy radios very cheap. Really, you can. You can buy walkie-talkies. They got radios. And they're rechargeable. Walkie-talkies could be quite useful for what's coming. Maybe get some walkie-talkies. And the V2K machine that I make, you need a walkie-talkie for it. So definitely get yourself a couple of walkie-talkies. Maybe, 4 of them. Learn how to use them and train your family how to use them, and say, there's 4 walkie-talkies in the house. If anything ever happens, come to my house and we'll get the walkie-talkies out, right? And we can do the, hello, are you there, over? Over and out. So yeah, I reckon, as I say, they've done something with the gas. Like with my house, right, where the gas used to run before there was a leak, that area where the pipe goes is a ringing. And now we've got the gas supply has gone round to slightly different new connection with more direct, and that still rings. So they've connected it to something else. So even though there's no gas supply to that pipe, it's connected to their network of piping, and it's a gassing of some kind. I'm sure it is. I get it's almost like an arthritis in my hands, where if my hands start to ache, it's like a very slight ache. Then I know that I'm breathing the stuff in. And then I open the windows and whatever. If these guys get in your house, it's a problem. So basically, I have all windows locked. And obviously, that's difficult if they're going to gas you. So you have to block everything up. Because if you want to open the windows, you can't be in two parts of the house at the same time. And these guys are so criminal that while you're upstairs opening windows, they'll be climbing in the windows downstairs. This is how bad it is for me anyway. And I'm not joking around. At the back of my house, I have a window very high up in the bedroom. And I would leave that open. But the neighbor has a ladder leaned up against a tree, and someone's been coming in the house. So every time I go out, I'm like, oh, what's going on? So the last time I went out, I closed all the windows and locked them upstairs as well. And as I was going out the door, the neighbors next door had just come back. And they were getting into their property. And I thought, oh, yeah. Timing is good, isn't it? I thought, I wonder if they're going to be trying to come in from the back today. And when I got home, I noticed no one had been in. So I was quite pleased. Because they don't want to make a scene, and they don't want to have to actually physically leave our windows open. So if you leave them a little bit open, even with a window lock, they still can get in. And the other thing I found is if I open the windows, sometimes they'll gas me from the bottom of the building and point. I think they're fanning a wind at the house. That's what I think. Because I can smell it and feel it coming from outside. And I can also see frequencies and wavelengths. I don't know why. So I can see things like earlier I went outside. Oh, it was so funny. And I had put a rubbish bag outside. And the seagulls had just nipped the top of it. And a couple of pieces of rubbish had dropped off the side. And I thought, oh, okay. Not to worry, I just put the bin bag back. And then I came back 10 minutes later. And I looked and I thought, where's the bin bag? And the seagulls had ripped it all apart and it was all over the yard. And while I was cleaning up that rubbish to put it in another bin bag, I thought, right, okay, I will clean this up. And my back started to really hurt, really bad. I thought, wow, why is my back so sore? And I reckon it's because they're pointing weapons at me. That's what I thought. And then when I came in, it wasn't so bad because I've got shielding up against the walls here. And I've also got stuff on the windows. So the stuff bounces back at them. So in that way, I was able to again prove that they are doing something outside. It's very hard to believe that people would go to such an effort to terrorize you without fail every second of every minute of every hour of every day. It's not like once a week and the weekends are the worst. And so that's how you know there's something very wrong in the world. And as I say, because it's invisible, nobody knows what's going on, only the people doing it, and you know. And now you know what I've told you and how they do it. The problem I've also had is with the gas, and with one of the properties here. We've had problems with the gas meter with one of the properties. And I noticed that when I was putting in the gas card for this meter that wasn't working properly, the door entry system started to open. It's almost like they've hooked up the door entry system to their other things. Yeah. Because the door entry system where I live now has failed. There's a lot of people that have problems now with the doorbells, and everything has failed because these guys have hijacked that and they've taken it over, and they've taken over the Wi-Fi, and they've taken over all the electrics to the building and all of that. That's what I believe, yeah. So what I need is a wiring scanner. You know, when you go to the airport and you put a suitcase through the scanner, and they go, ah, yes, you've got some liquids in there. You can't have those liquids in there. They have to go in the main luggage because they won't allow you to have perfumes, that kind of thing. So we could almost do with one of those type of scanners for the walls, and we could also do with a device that you pop a bit of oxygen in, and you can check the contents of the oxygen, and the same with water. And these are things I want to explore, and maybe even start doing laboratory work, so that I can validate what I'm saying. I have already checked with my own microscope and with my magnifying glasses that I've got from taking binoculars apart and telescopes apart, because I take things apart and always keep the little pieces. And I've also got a projector and all the glass from that, to magnify things. So I was able to see there's definitely some moving things that are very small, and they're not nice. It's not normal. It's stuff you can't see. And again, I don't know, my eyes get sore, my cat's eyes get sore, and I think it's a gassing and a poisoning. And so I believe exactly what they told you in the World War II they did to those guys. They're actually doing it to the real children of God. And it's a combination of hacking, stalking, terrorizing, in home invasions, tampering with your food and water, cloning your phone and cloning your SIM card. But it's also taking over all your electrics, your water, your gas, and witchcraft. And then they mess with your vehicles as well, and any job prospects or work possibilities, and any app as well. They also modify on your phone, and they interfere with all the neighbors so that they all partake in it. They will also hurt pets as well, and stand on their back and kick them and things. So they're not very nice people, right? So that's what we're dealing with. And then obviously the gassing, poisoning as well. So if you were able to prove this on every level, I reckon these guys would go to jail and never ever come back out. I reckon that they would be killed by court of law. They would be sentenced to death, to be gassed, or to be put in the electric chair for the things that they're doing to us. That's what I think. And that's why everyone turns a blind eye. Just one of these crimes, hacking, cloning phones, cloning SIM cards. They'll go to jail for 50 years. Tampering with water, poisoning people in their houses. That's damn serious. That's mass murder. Because there's going to be other people around that are going to be affected. For sure. Okay. So yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you about start really thinking about getting some masks. And if when you're sleeping, get yourself a big flat sheet and chuck it over your whole bed when you're sleeping. And this will stop you breathing in the stuff while you're sleeping as well. And it might be worth getting for the corners of the giant sheet is to get some heavy weighted things. So you could just get a fork or a spoon or something, wheel around a little elastic band on the corner with a spoon or a knife. Spoon's probably the best one. And then hang that over the bed so that it doesn't lift over your head while you're sleeping. That's what I have done before, and that has worked very effectively, and I haven't had any problems. If I've got ringing in my ears while I'm sleeping, I cover myself, and then I don't have ringing. Within 10 minutes, the ringing stops, so it's definitely something you're breathing. It's a poisoning and a gassing. All right, so Ayesha from God FM, and if you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, and God FM Group. You can email me admin@godfm.org.uk, and you can WhatsApp me +44 777 35 77788. As I was saying, it actually might be worth getting an old, those really big fat gas masks. Start wearing that around when people say to you, "Why are you wearing?" So because someone's gassing me in my house, and really make it, stop being obvious about it, because I'm pissed off with it. I really am tired of it. Absolutely fed up with it. Alrighty, take care. Love you lots.